Hey, what's up guys? Edison here. We're back to this style of video. You're gonna just see my hands on the table. We're going back to doing a mail day. This I will mention in a post on the channel. I went away on vacation. I went on a vacation to Maine. So this is kind of like stuff that I picked up in the week that I was gone. That I just was unboxing now. So to start, before we go into the cards, I picked up a couple of comic books from, I would consider this stuff like Golden Age or like pre-1955 stuff. The first one is going to be Voodoo #3. And I really like this cover just of what I took as zombies. Zombies kidnapping this girl, almost like a bondage cover of this girl in distress being held captive by these zombies. So that was one that I picked up for a great deal. This one I got a lot. It's Marvel Tales 141 and Marvel Tales 129. And these were all published by Atlas Comics. You see in the top left on both. And if you're unaware, Atlas Comics ends up becoming modern day Marvel Comics. So this is, early Marvel in some regard. You can see it as that. And now that we have the comics out of the way, we can go over the cards. I guess we will start with this pile. This stuff was more promo focused. Promo in like a specific set. So here is this Raikou LP card. This came from, it was like a not present set. This was like a blister pack in Japan. It was like called the Legends blister, and it came with the shiny versions of all three of the dogs. Rocket Sneasel EX. Here's one of those classic play cards where you could write your name on the top, but this was Play Celebi 012 Play. I picked up a couple of these just because this onion Pokemon is pretty popular. I would say there is definitely a pretty devout fan group from Gen 2 that likes collecting Celebi. And here is, I think this is the Litten card. You can see that there's, I think it's Chespin and Inkay. I forget how these cards released, but it's like an interconnected set of their arts. Like they're all just hanging out. And this card was super expensive, to my knowledge, on release. But since then, it's dropped to a pretty affordable price. I think it's like $10 card now. But just for Japanese exclusive art, I thought it was a great idea to pick up a couple copies. And I think right here is the Chespin from the set. So you have Chespin, Inkay, Litten. You can see it's the same environment, just, really cute artwork of what they're doing. Here's another one of that style where it's a connected art. This is Litten with Chikorita Meowth in the background. Another Japanese exclusive artwork. And to be fair, I'm not really remembering how this card released. And the final in this stack was a lot of Pokeyuin Holos. Pokeyuin, I think it is CP3, maybe it's CP5. It's one of the CP sets in Japanese. But this is a set that's like $1,500 plus for a booster box now. And a lot of the beautiful holo cards you can get, which is, in my opinion, what you really want this set for, is the stuff with like the ribbons, just this full body texture. It's really interesting stuff, how they did these cards. And the art style is very unique to the set. And the fact that you could pick up the cards like this from the set for sub $10, I thought was a really good idea. Just pick up a couple raw copies. So we have Jirachi from the set. Here's the Altaria from the set. I really like this card because I like Altaria as a Pokemon, but I mean, the fact that it has Sylveon, which is probably one of the fan favorite evolutions, one of the favorite of the ones they've done, and then Dedenne, another one of those super popular Pokemon. I mean, you just have to look at like all the merch and toys they make with Dedenne on them. I thought this one was great as a fan of Gen 3, just Wally holding up Ralts. It's just cute artwork. And then Yveltal, great artwork there. And then actually this one you can kind of see it. I guess we can show it on this one too. But like just look at how the card looks, the way that they kind of like embossed. This one has embossed keys. I'm not sure what Yveltal has. Yveltal has like an embossed pattern as well. If you hold it up like that, it's just amazing. Like this is really the only set that they've done this type of stuff in. And then this was, I think, a common from the set. Yeah. Oh, it's CP3. I should have looked at the bottom right. But this one has like a heart. So like there are like shattered glass holos like this where the whole card has this holo, but the fact that this card has hearts imprinted with the holo foil, I think was really cool. So I'm switching over to do the voiceover with like just my normal microphone, make it a little bit easier. We're gonna go over a lot of holos that I picked up from that kind of like the early 2000s. Right after the E-Series sets, you have, you know, Ruby, Sapphire, Fire Red, Leaf Green. So I picked up stuff originating from there, which is like that ADV era in Japanese. And I pretty much stopped buying into LP. So from Heart Gold, Soul Silver to Ruby, Sapphire is where a majority of the cards that we're going to go over now are from. And a lot of these are just cool holo foils. I'm showing them off on the camera, but they're stuff that's pretty low population. That was something that I noticed, and that's kind of the reason I really went for them. Is a lot of this stuff isn't graded very often. Like if you go on eBay and you type in a lot of these cards, especially from that Diamond and Pearl era, the holo cards just aren't graded. If you go on eBay, as I mentioned, or if you like just browse sold listings or auctions, a lot of the time you'll see it's WotC holos and then ultra rares from these sets, but not these cards that, in my opinion, have beautiful artwork and are still chase cards. Like a holo rare from these sets is not easy to pull, considering the sets are getting more expensive and it's just harder to acquire mint copies. So that's kind of the reason that fueled me to buy this stuff. Here we have just the shield on. You can notice that it has like a silver border, almost like an EX holo border. That is from a movie promotional file. And this is a great example. This was, I think, a Diamond and Pearl, maybe Platinum era Mismagius. But to my knowledge, there's probably not many that have been sold graded. And by the time I get these back from CGC, or if I do, I might send some of these to P.S.A. when they open up bulk. I don't know the timeline for that. Probably not for like a year. But yeah, by the time I get those back graded, I'll probably be the only person competing with me to sell them. And that was something that I did for the beat up condition EXs I had. I was like the only person that was selling those low grade EX cards at the time. Since then, there's been a couple of people who have listed them, but they did super well for me. Like those low grade EXs, I think nobody really expected me to be able to sell them at the prices that I got for them. But I think that comes with the territory of being one of the few people that have something listed. You just can kind of name your own price at that point. Way more Minetrix. Like, look at that art. That is just nice artwork for the Pokemon. This is dynamic stuff. This Ampharos is similar way. As I mentioned initially in the video that I was a huge Slacking fan, so I saw these. And you gotta realize too, like for these less popular Pokemon, they're still really cheap raw. Like I think I paid right around $1 a piece for Pokemon like Slacking, like Shiftry. You saw Porygon, I think that was like around the same price. Here is a Groudon EX. You'll notice that it's non-holo. It's a Korokoro promotional card. These were a little bit beat up. I would say like some of these are like around near mint 7s if you grade them. But EX cards are just a hot card. Groudon is a legendary Pokemon, just popular. And there is like a collectability for those Korokoro variants of stuff. This is what I was talking about, the Heart Gold Soul Silver era cards. A lot of those LP stuff just has really unique artwork. Like the line work is super specific to that era. And because of that, you just get cute cards like this Clefable. Here we have some more, I think this was Platinum era. That Blaziken that you see coming up is one of my favorite Blaziken artworks. Just super dynamic. You can see the power. This is just a nice Weavile too, with the moon in the background. But just great Blaziken. Yeah, just going over these cards was really fun as well. The main reason, there was a couple things that really pushed me to buy this stuff too, was I'm just thinking about like the generational breakdown of Pokemon collecting. And I personally, I'm 22 years old. I don't really have nostalgia for the WotC sets. Because, you know, when the WotC sets were all the rage, I was 3 years old, more or less. Maybe even E-Series, I was too young to really remember. But for me, most of my nostalgia and connection to the Pokemon was starting in Ruby and Sapphire. And I know that there's other people a little bit older than me that have a similar feeling, and younger than me that are the same way. And I think moving forward, a lot of people, there will be a little bit of a fatigue because of how popular and populated WotC is. A lot of Japanese old back is kind of facing that same thing right now. So I think there's a lot of hidden potential in going for these types of cards that you won't be competing with many people to sell them raw or even sell them graded. And you'll be tapping into nostalgia of people in their early 20s, because this is the stuff that we're probably just going to end up gravitating to, be it that it's the cards we remember as a kid, or in some cases, it's just the Pokemon that they like. Like, a lot of people like some of the early Gen 2 sets because, some of the WotC sets because they feature Gen 1 and Gen 2 Pokemon, which they can relate to or remember playing the games and getting. But, like, I remember getting a lot of these Diamond and Pearl Pokemon. Like, this was my most played game as a kid. Like, I remember getting Porygon-Z. I remember seeing Spiritomb for the first time from Cynthia, thinking that was crazy. I will make an exception. I do also love, like, Gen 1, Gen 2 stuff. The Rockets stuff is just amazing. Like Exploud, I have fond memories of catching Whismur in Ruby and Sapphire. Huntail, finding him underwater. Dusclops. Just this is randomly thrown in here. McDonald's promo Zapdos. That stuff's really cool too. Like unique artwork on a Zapdos. Slacking is, as I mentioned, a favorite of mine. It's just really cool that they just took the Sugimori artwork. I think he probably just drew this as like the official image for the Pokemon, and I just pasted it onto a card. When I saw this for sale, I was kind of blown away with just how nice the Ducati artworks they do are. Like, they do not miss with making a nice art for that Pokemon. This is Driftblim. I couldn't remember the name when I initially recorded this, but I do remember it. I ended up Googling it. Driftblim and Drifloon. I remember, like, Diamond and Pearl finding out the story of Driftblim and reading the Pokédex entry of how it kidnaps kids. Scyther, I believe this is from... It might be Secret Wonders. This is one of those Diamond and Pearl shiny cards. Those are very tough to grade because they chip a lot. Yeah, I mean, these are fan favorite Pokemon. Ampharos, Leafeon. Those were a little bit more expensive, but as I mentioned, like the Shiftrys, the Porygons, those cards were all around $1 a piece. And to me, like, $1 for a holo rare from a set that would cost me a couple $1,000 just for a box, and a couple $100 for just a pack. It's a great deal. Like, it makes no sense to be that cheap, and the price for the popular Pokemon is kind of offset by the price that I'm paying for the less popular ones. This Raichu EX was a little beat up, but as I mentioned, like Raichu is like I go down the list. If it's a popular Pokemon and if it's a very rare card or rare card, it's worth grading. Beat up. Holland's Magneton, something I remember. I had a couple of these as a kid. I'm not sure if they were in a World Championship deck, but I feel like that was the case. This is a really beautiful Mew, just good artwork for a super popular Pokemon. You can't really go wrong with that. And just nice holo foil. I spent a lot of time showing that card off. And then we have Dusclops, and then more Slacking. So a lot of repeats. And then we'll go into like the high-end stuff that I picked up. That was kind of like the cheaper bulk stuff. This was the stuff, and this is the stuff that I paid a little bit more for. So the first up are two Garchomps. These are Garchomp EXs from, this was the Camex Mega Battle in 2016. So these were a participation card if you went to the Camex Battle tournament. It was hosted in different regions of Japan. I forget, I think it was like around springtime to early summer, 2016. And you'll notice the cool part is that they're both signed by Imakuni. And what's really cool too is, if you look at the date that he signed these for, you can also pull up the exact, as I mentioned, the tournament went around to different prefectures in Japan. You can pull up the exact tournament that Imakuni would have been attending to sign these. So it's just cool. Imakuni signatures I really like, and the fact that it's like a participation prize from a tournament. It was really cool to get signed. Here we have a really nice one. This is Cyrus's Conspiracy, I think is the name. This was another participation card in Japanese with just Sugimori artwork. Similar to like Little's Pokemon. They just took the stock art for him and dumped him onto this background with the holo. But 007 DPT. So this was like an early Platinum era prize card. Here's another prize card from the LP era. This is the Indigo Plateau card. So there is this card in English and Japanese without the stamps. but they don't have this really beautiful holo foil. I mean, this is just a great card. You have Celebi, the Legend stamp. It is just good stuff. Here we have Jolteon Gold Star. This one is very beat up. I can kind of show it off on camera to show you condition. Chipping throughout, and the back is pretty messed up, pretty gnarly. This was probably like $240, $50. The main reason I bought it was that it's a World Champions pack card, and you've seen that I had Jolteon, I had Flareon and Vaporeon from World Champions pack, Unlimited. Unlimited is the rarer print run for this stuff, and because I already had the other two evolutions that were printed, I thought I might as well get the third Gold Star to finish it off. This was a base set Charizard, base set Unlimited. I think there's like a coffee stain on the back, right there. It's super beat up, but some seller in Japan had this listed for 50 bucks. And I thought to myself, if I saw Charizard, base set Unlimited Charizards pop up in English in the US, like on Facebook or eBay, for $50 in this condition, I would be buying them all day. At this, like I would just be buying them. So I realized that was just probably a good price to pick it up at. It's probably like a CGC 4, right around there, 4 or 5. And then we're going to end on, you saw that Charmeleon. This is the Charizard from that same set. Just beautiful. This is a, obvious homage to Arita's base set Charizard. And this was also done by Arita, I believe. Yeah, it's just a homage to that original base set artwork. With like a modern rendition of it. So yeah, that was my mail. A couple of comics I got in. Really happy to just get those pressed, cleaned, and graded with CGC. Some cool high-end cards. I'm probably most excited about these signed Imakuni cards. These were really cool. I picked them up for, in my opinion, what was a very fair deal for them. All right, thanks for watching, and have a nice one.